The hallowed halls of Forrester Creations have long been a battleground for ego, artistry, and dynastic supremacy, but the simmering tensions have finally reached an absolute boiling point. For weeks, the industry has watched with bated breath as Steffy Forrester Finnegan tightened her iron-fisted grip on the executive suite, ruling the company with a level of arrogance and condescension that has alienated her most valuable assets. At the center of this corporate storm is Hope Logan Spencer, a woman whose entire career, legacy, and emotional well-being have been systematically dismantled by Steffy's ruthless prioritization of Eric Forrester's couture line. Hope has been pushed to the absolute brink, her beloved Hope for the Future brand shelved, and her creative voice silenced by a co-CEO who seems to take perverse pleasure in her suffering. But while Steffy has been busy gloating over her perceived victory and demanding unquestioning loyalty from her father, Ridge Forrester, she has fatally underestimated the one force of nature that has always been capable of bringing the Forrester empire to its knees, a fiercely protective, thoroughly radicalized Brooke Logan. Brooke has spent decades navigating the treacherous waters of the Forrester family, often playing the role of the peacemaker, the romantic muse, or the forgiving matriarch. She has historically relied on the men in her life, particularly Ridge, to intervene and restore balance when the scales of justice tipped too far in favor of his children. But as Brooke stood by and watched her daughter Hope be humiliated, marginalized, and pushed to the verge of defecting to the rival Logan fashion house, something inside her fundamentally snapped. Her maternal instinct, usually a source of warmth and guidance, has calcified into a weapon of mass destruction. Brooke has realized with chilling clarity that playing fair is a fool's errand. Ridge has proven himself entirely impotent, a cowardly leader who offered her a pathetic couture dress as a peace offering instead of the co-CEO seat she rightfully demanded. Ridge's failure to rein in his daughter's tyrannical behavior was the catalyst, but it is Brooke's newfound, terrifying ruthlessness that is about to rewrite the history of Los Angeles high fashion. Having exhausted all diplomatic avenues and realizing that a conventional hostile takeover would be blocked by Ridge's blind loyalty to Steffy, Brooke has decided to execute the most audacious, cold-blooded, and ruthless maneuver in the entire history of the Logan family. She has bypassed the middle management of Ridge and Steffy and gone straight to the apex of the pyramid, the patriarch himself, Eric Forrester. Eric holds the ultimate, unquestionable authority over the company he built from the ground up. His word is law, and his power is absolute. But Eric is also a man deeply devoted to his family and currently living in a state of tranquil domestic bliss with Brooke's own sister, Donna Logan. To force Eric to dismantle his own family's leadership structure, Brooke knew she needed leverage of catastrophic proportions. She needed a secret so dark, so explosive, and so deeply damaging that Eric would have no choice but to bow to her demands. And, tragically, Brooke possessed exactly that. In a storyline twist that threatens to shatter the very foundation of the show, it's been revealed that Brooke and Eric share a devastating, recent secret. During a period when Donna was away, the former spouses, who share a long, complicated, and deeply passionate history, succumbed to a moment of weakness. A secret night of forbidden passion transpired between them, a fleeting but monumental indiscretion that they both silently agreed to bury forever. For Eric, it was a momentary lapse in judgment, a ghost of the past momentarily overriding his deep, abiding love for Donna. For Brooke, it was a mistake she intended to take to her grave. But desperation breeds monsters, and as Brooke watched Steffy systematically destroy her daughter's life, she made the chilling decision to weaponize her own sin. She would use this secret night of passion not just as leverage, but as a guillotine. The confrontation between Brooke and Eric is destined to go down as one of the most masterfully tense scenes in television history. Brooke orchestrated a private meeting with Eric at the sprawling Forrester mansion, ensuring they were completely alone. The atmosphere in the grand estate was heavy, the silence broken only by the ticking of the grandfather clock and the crackle of the fireplace. Eric greeted Brooke with his usual warmth and familial affection, completely oblivious to the fact that the woman standing before him was no longer the loving mother of his children, but a corporate assassin. Brooke did not return his smile. Her demeanor was ice-cold, her posture rigid, and her eyes devoid of the characteristic warmth that has defined her for decades. She did not come to plead, nor did she come to negotiate. She came to dictate terms. With a chilling calmness, Brooke laid the evidence of their secret night together on Eric's mahogany desk. The specifics of the evidence, perhaps a damning piece of security footage, an undeniable audio recording, or a digital trail of their clandestine encounter, were irrefutable. Eric's reaction was one of sheer, unadulterated horror. The color drained from his face as his eyes darted from the evidence to Brooke's unyielding expression. He was paralyzed by disbelief. The woman he had loved, married, and championed for years was now standing in his study, holding a loaded gun to the head of his current relationship and his family's legacy. Eric's initial instinct was denial, followed swiftly by a desperate plea for understanding, but Brooke's heart had been turned to stone by the sight of her daughter's tears. Brooke's voice did not waver as she delivered her devastating ultimatum. She coldly articulated her terms. Eric must use his supreme, unchallengeable executive power to immediately and permanently fire both Ridge and Steffy from the Forrester Creations executive board. He must strip them of their titles, their influence, and their authority. And in their place, he must install Brooke as the sole, uncontested chief executive officer of the company. She did not want to share power as a co-CEO. She did not want to compromise. She demanded total, absolute control over the empire, a complete decapitation of the current leadership regime that had dared to treat her daughter as collateral damage. Eric was plunged into an agonizing, suffocating dilemma. The psychological torment etched across his face was profound. If he refused Brooke's demands, she promised to deliver the evidence directly to Donna. Eric knows, with absolute certainty, that this revelation would destroy Donna. Donna has been his rock, his savior during his recent health crises, and the light of his twilight years. The thought of breaking Donna's heart, of seeing the devastation in her eyes, and of losing her forever was a prospect too agonizing for Eric to bear. But the alternative was equally catastrophic. To fire his own son and daughter, to strip Steffy of the position she has fought so fiercely to maintain, and to humiliate Ridge in front of the entire industry would permanently sever his relationship with his children. He would be forced to betray his own blood to protect his heart. Brooke had masterfully engineered a flawless, inescapable checkmate. The sheer ruthlessness of Brooke's demand is staggering, particularly because of the collateral damage it inflicts upon her own sister. Donna Logan is currently fighting tooth and nail to keep the Logan family united, desperately pleading with Katie to abandon her vendettas and put family first. Donna is acting as the moral compass of the sisters, completely unaware that Brooke is actively using Donna's relationship, her happiness, and her future as a bargaining chip in a corporate bloodbath. Brooke has rationalized this horrific betrayal in her own mind, convincing herself that she is doing what is necessary to protect Hope, the ultimate mama bear protecting her cub. But in reality, Brooke has crossed a moral event horizon. She has become the very monster she has spent her life fighting against, adopting the manipulative, cutthroat tactics of the late Stephanie Forrester to achieve her goals. As Eric sits in the oppressive silence of his study, staring at the evidence that could end his life as he knows it, a silent coup begins to brew in the heart of the Forrester family. The implications of this secret meeting are cataclysmic, threatening to send shockwaves through every single character on the canvas. Steffy Forrester Finnegan, currently sitting on her throne in the CEO office, remains blissfully, arrogantly unaware of the impending doom. She has spent the week bragging to her mother, Taylor Hayes, about her steadfast victory over Brooke, boasting that Ridge finally made the right choice by protecting her position. Steffy's smugness, her condescending or what, to Hope, is about to be answered with a nuclear strike. The poetic justice of Steffy's downfall is palpable, her own arrogance set the stage, but it is Brooke's unprecedented cruelty that will pull the trigger. Ridge Forrester, the man who has spent his entire life vacillating between the women he loves, is about to face the ultimate reckoning for his cowardice. Ridge has been desperately trying to manage the fallout, attempting to play peacemaker while fundamentally enabling Steffy's worst impulses. He believes that his gift of a couture dress was enough to placate Brooke, entirely underestimating the depth of her rage and the ferocity of her ambition. When Eric makes his move, because he will inevitably choose Donna over his children's corporate titles, Ridge will be completely blindsided. To be fired by his own father is a humiliating blow, but to discover that Brooke orchestrated his professional execution will destroy the bridge relationship in a way that no previous scandal ever has. Ridge will be left with nothing, no company, no power, and no wife. The ripple effects of this silent coup will also crash violently into the Logan fashion house. Katie and Bill Spencer have been scrambling, holding emergency strategy sessions as they realize their brand is vulnerable to a vengeful Brooke. They have been banking on Hope defecting to their company, but Brooke's imminent ascension to the CEO throne means Hope will stay at Forrester Creations, empowered and vindicated. Katie, already struggling with intense guilt and accusations from Donna that she is subconsciously seeking revenge against Brooke, will find herself facing a fully weaponized Forrester Creations led by her own sister. The war between the two fashion houses will no longer be a skirmish. It will be a fight for total annihilation, with Brooke holding all the cards and commanding the industry's most powerful empire. Furthermore, the return of Taylor Hayes adds a volatile, unpredictable element to this explosive scenario. Taylor has gained a brand new perspective on Brooke after hearing Steffy's accounts of the corporate hostility. Taylor has spent her life warning people about Brooke's destructive, manipulative nature, and Brooke's current actions will serve as the ultimate validation of Taylor's lifelong crusade. When the dust settles and the bodies are counted, Taylor will undoubtedly step up to protect her children, setting the stage for a renewed, apocalyptic war between the two matriarchs. Only this time, Brooke is not fighting for Ridge's heart. She is fighting for absolute power, and she has proven she is willing to destroy anyone, even her own sister, to keep it. As the days pass following the secret meeting, the atmosphere within the Forrester building becomes suffocatingly tense. Eric's agonizing silence speaks volumes to those who know him best, his usual vibrant energy replaced by a haunted, defeated pallor. He is a king trapped in a cage of his own making, forced to choose the method of his own execution. Meanwhile, Brooke walks the halls with a new, terrifying confidence. There is a cold, calculating gleam in her eye, a silent promise of the carnage to come. She watches Steffy issue orders and belittle staff, knowing that the young woman's reign is already over, the decree just waiting to be signed. Hope, radicalized by her trauma, stands by her mother's side, unaware of the horrific price Brooke has paid to secure their victory, but ready to inherit the earth. This is a masterclass in soap opera storytelling, a narrative that takes beloved, established characters and pushes them into the darkest, most compelling corners of their own psychology. Brooke Logan's transformation from a romantic heroine into a Machiavellian mastermind is as tragic as it is mesmerizing. She has sacrificed her integrity, her sister's trust, and her husband's loyalty on the altar of her daughter's ambition. The silent coup has been initiated, the ultimatum has been delivered, and the clock is ticking down to zero. When Eric Forrester finally makes his move, the explosion will shatter the Forrester and Logan families beyond repair, leaving a landscape of broken hearts, shattered alliances, and a brand new, terrifying queen sitting upon the throne of Los Angeles.